Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Today we have a issue with the backhoe. I was clearing the path for my future power line to go to my house. Came across a giant boulder, and in moving it I snapped the thumb off the backhoe. So today we gotta prep that and get it welded back on. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Okay, so for those who watch the other backhoe videos, this is where my thumb did sit. So this is the first time I ever used a stick welder, and I'm honestly surprised it held up as long as it did. So I had to cut all this old weld off and do the same on the base for the thumb piece that goes here. I'll show that in a minute. And just get this whole area prepped, and then I'll have to strap the thumb piece, the bracket back on to the thumb so that I can tack it, and then remove the strap so it doesn't melt, and then re-weld the entire thing. So that's the project for right now. Okay, so here are the thumb pieces in the front bucket. I just kind of rolled them through the woods and flipped them into the bucket to get them out of the woods, so that I could do this on the driveway portion, and not set the woods on fire with welding, having sparks go down to the leaf litter. So we'll get the parts cleaned up. Here's the base. You can see the old weld here. So I didn't have a lot of penetration, obviously, since it popped off, and you can see here the flatness of it. So it was on the steel and just kind of, so you can see the flatness. So it was sitting on the base plate, but it wasn't, the weld didn't penetrate into that steel to make them one. And like I said, I'm really surprised that this thing lasted as long as it did. So I've got to grind all this old weld off and get everything prepped and put back together. Okay, so one thing this plate did have was it did have rounded edges, so it wasn't sharp edge, so I don't need to worry about grinding a bevel on that once I get this weld cleaned off. I do have my safety squints, and we'll start with a cutoff wheel and see if that cuts it off pretty quick. I don't have a lot of cutoff wheels. I may have to go and get some more, hopefully not. And then I do have some grinding discs as well. And then something else I may do is on this thumb, something that's I'm not happy with it since I got it, is the fact that it's much longer than the bucket itself. So when the teeth close, it comes to this tooth, so it has this much sticking out past. So I may cut this while it's off and just shorten it up, make it more user friendly. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. so that did that blade in. Alright, so it's not a 4-hour video of you watching me grind. Even with it sped up, I will be back once I get this cleaned up and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I got that done. I ended up using a corded grinder instead of the battery one. It was just going through too many batteries too fast. Here's my welder. It's a Lincoln AC/DC Tombstone stick welder. So got that done, and I got all the weld ground off of this plate here. So need to get this situated on the plate in the correct spot and get it tacked on, and then I'll have to fight with this thing to get it in position to make sure it is correct. Standing here looking at this, it looks like the whole thing is racked. It's because it is. So I have a bigger gap here than I do here. I can't even get my finger in there, and I can, so that's exciting, but that's fine. It goes back and forth. It looks like I need to add some more grease up here. This is rubbed itself clean. So all right, I'm gonna set you down and we'll see what we can do about getting this situated. Okay, so I have it mocked up here on the backhoe, and since the whole thing has twisted a little bit, I need to push it to this side to get it to line up with the center tooth. So let me get that tacked on in a few places. So I did get this auto darkening goggle set to hopefully allow you guys to watch the welding without getting flashed. If you've watched some other people that weld, you get the bright light because the camera isn't protected from the flash, and I don't need you guys going blind watching my videos. So hopefully this works. I won't know until I go and edit, but it should work. So let me get all this situated because I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to get this to sit on the camera. So, alright, I'll be back when starting to weld. have 3 tacks on both sides. Hoping that'll hold it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put it so that the dipper is vertical, because when you stick weld, it's best to do it from the bottom up, and that helps everything flow correctly. Upside down is the worst position to do it. So I'll get the backhoe situated. Okay, so now I have the thumb bracket vertical, so it should make it a little easier to weld. Now you can hear the generator running in the background. Unfortunately, the highest it has is 30 amp and the welder pulls 50. So it keeps tripping the onboard circuit breaker. So that's going to make getting this welded a very slow and arduous ordeal, but it will get done. With this welder, with this generator, the welds are looking better. It's a 10,000 peak, 8,000 running. Would have liked to have a bigger one, but that's all they had. What I welded it with before was a 5,500 peak. So the welds were probably cold, and I'm really surprised it lasted as long as it did. But you know, you do what you have to do, and this is one of those things I'm learning as I go. I never welded before starting these projects, so something I've always been interested in, but never did. So it's just a learning experience, and just here we go. Helps you put the ground back on.
Okay, so this is this side done. Not the most beautiful weld in the world, but it's definitely better than it was before. When I was doing this, the slag was actually flaking off like it's supposed to, making me feel better about myself as far as welding. So obviously it was just too cold. And I'm starting on this side. The GoPro overheated, and its little protective case here. So let it cool down. Now I'm starting the other side, and we'll hopefully I'll get some more welding in. Okay, so this is what my weld looks like. Not the prettiest thing, but you have to remember that I'm running on 30 amp versus a 50 amp circuit breaker, so it kept tripping. So a lot of starting and stopping and going uphill. This is what my weld looks like on the horizontal. Looks much better. And so I now have the thumb welded back on. Got it back in position. I need to get another clip. That one broke. And if I want to be able to fold the thumb up out of the way, I need to move this because this part twisted from when it was originally installed. I put this back in the center so that the thumb fell on the center tooth versus off to the side. So this would need to be shifted if I want to be able to fold the thumb up. What I'll probably do, if I want the thumb off, I'll just take it off and set it aside. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Like I said, so that's that side. And then that's the other side. Again, it's not the prettiest weld, but I am learning. Basically, I'm learning from watching welding tipsandtricks.com. I'm watching IC Weld on YouTube, and to a lesser extent, Man Behind the Scenes, just because they don't show any, or they show very few close-up of the welding. You know, they show him stick welding and MIG welding, but there's no close-up of the puddle. But you know, learning technique, and what it's supposed to look like. So know what it's supposed to look like. Just doesn't look that way. But you know, do what I can, and it should hold, hopefully better than my last weld. Like I said, I don't even know how it held that long. I was welding very cold with my setup before, only a 5400 watt generator. So we will see. Time will tell. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. God bless.